Very good morning and welcome everybody to this session this morning. This is Frequently Answered Friday, and it's a session whereby I get questions throughout the week, and those questions, I actually record them down, I make notes of them, and I give those answers directly back to those agents. But then there are questions that come to me on a regular basis, and it's those questions that I start bringing into these particular sessions. So the question today was actually more of a statement type of question, and it came from a number of agents that I've been working with over the years. And this question was like this: I've gone and met a seller, but this seller will not give me a sole mandate. And the reason why is they had a bad experience with another agent. So they will only do an open mandate and work with a variety of agents. How can I convince that seller to go with me in a sole mandate? So that is the actual question that I'm going through today. So the statement is, I've met with a seller, they've had a bad experience with an outside agent, and as a result, they will not give any sole mandate. So Stuart, how do I go through this particular process to get that sole mandate? Because we know the importance of a sole mandate is, in essence, our post-dated check. You see, when we get that sole mandate, we're actually securing at least 50% of that commission. And if you sell it yourself, well, then you get the full 100%. Now, I started to look at that and break it down into a number of reasons. And really, the first thing is when you're having this conversation with a seller, and it normally starts with a phone call, maybe with a message, and they say, hey, that's fine, you can actually have this conversation, you can list my property, and you then turn and say, look, I'd like to move it into a sole mandate. And they say, no, can't do that. I will only work with a variety of agents out there. Now, how do we convert them? Well, step number one, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a face-to-face meeting with them. You can't convert an open mandate to a sole mandate on the back of a telephone conversation. It must be something where you're actually meeting with that particular seller face-to-face. That's the most important part of this whole process. It's when you have those face-to-face conversations, it will show the true person that you are and what you can actually offer. Plus, gives you the opportunity to share all those wonderful tools that I've been going through in the seller's presentation. Now, the first thing, and this is really when we start with a conversation with a particular seller that will not give you that sole mandate as a result of a past bad experience. What you need to do is start that conversation with what we refer to as an open conversation. Opening the actual conversation is identifying what exactly was that bad experience. Get them to talk about it so that you can actually understand what was that reason. Because it's that reason that you need to overturn. Because when you overturn it, you'll find that you get more trust from your particular seller. So it could be the actual agent, and this is a common one. The agent took my listing. I never heard from them again. They never brought a buyer. They never gave me feedback. They just disappeared. They took that sole mandate. They signed it for 6 months. The property didn't sell. I didn't see a buyer. I didn't see the agent. I didn't have communications, and it was a really bad experience. There could also be the ones where, well, my agent would just rock up at the house and just bring their buyers through, not allowing us time to sort the house out or get the kids all prepped for bed. So there's always this lack of communication. So the very first part is opening up that communication and asking them directly, what was it that the previous agent did that upset you? And start addressing those particular issues, identifying them. And I always suggest, take down a notepad, just write all that information down, because you can then address it point by point. On the back of that, what you'll find is when they start to identify, hey, and I'm going to use this as an example, my agent just did not communicate with me. They just never gave me feedback. You can then follow that up with what we refer to as success stories. Now, success stories is, well, hey, every week I'd follow up with my agent, with my seller, and by following up every single week, they actually were giving me feedback on improvements to the house, and that backwards and forwards. So when you identify what that particular problem or what that issue was, try and turn it into a success story where you can show them examples of how you've reacted in a similar situation to overcome that, so that your sellers don't get that same feeling. You then lead into your benefits. You start to explain the benefits that you can actually offer them. And this is really on, well, when I have a sole mandate, I'll be able to invest in marketing. I'll be able to invest in that professional photographer. I'll be able to invest more time and money into your particular property to make sure that it gets sold. You see, my commitment level goes to the next level. The reason why, and this you can explain, if I'm doing all the marketing and it's on an open mandate, I'm going to create the exposure. I'm going to create the whole interest on your property. But then the other agents, which haven't done anything, are going to get that luck chance where a buyer likes the property and they connect with them. So we've got to look at our invested interest in your property, and we do invest money into your property. So we want to make sure that we give you the maximum out. And when we start talking about this investment, this is going to lead us into the marketing plan, because very, very few agents actually discuss a marketing plan with their clients. You see, when you're discussing a marketing plan, what you're actually going through is, we sign a sole mandate. Tomorrow, I'm going to arrange for a professional photographer. Then on Thursday, we're going to upload the photos and it's going to go through to all the portals. At the same time, I'm going to send it through to all my buyers. Then I'm going to do the Facebook post, and I'm going to do this particular marketing. I'm going to do this particular open house. I'm going to do the show house. And then I'm going to create this whole atmosphere around your property. That's a marketing plan. It's creating an exposure to that particular listing. And you talk about that marketing plan. Now, this is why you need to be in front of your seller, because you can actually pull out your marketing plan tool and you can actually discuss with them, well, over the next 4 weeks, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Over the next 90 days, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And this is something you can't do over a phone call. So having that conversation and going through that marketing plan, what you're actually done is you started right in the beginning identifying what's actually upset them, and then you've slowly started to go through this realm where you're turning into small success stories. You're then adding on the benefits that you offer and leading into a marketing plan. And really what you're doing is you're starting to remove them from that negative feeling. They're starting to get more engaged. Once you've gone through that marketing plan, you're then going back into that communication. And that communication is the clear communication where you say, so once we've done all of this, every single week on a Thursday or on a Friday, I will give you a call, I'll give you an email, I'll even come through to your house, I'll give you a message, whichever you prefer. Once a week, I will give you the feedback that I've actually had in the last X amount of days. And you have that conversation with the seller to say, this is my commitment. I'm going to be communicating with you on an ongoing basis. If there is an appointment that comes through, we'll give you 24 hours notice and we will schedule and set that up. You see, with a sole mandate, we can do that. With an open mandate, we can't do that because another buyer will just bring someone through so that they can claim the effective cause. So when we've got that, you've got all your marketing plan. You've now started to discuss these weekly updates that they can actually expect, and you can actually give them examples as well. You can actually show them, when I put it up onto Facebook or any of the social platforms, this is the type of report that I receive, and you can share that with them. So they're starting to get more excited. And I always suggest, take reference of one of your most popular sales in marketing and use that data to share with your particular client. Why you're most popular? Because you always want to exceed that. You always want to make it the best. So by sharing an existing one, they can see exactly what you have actually done. It then leads you into your professionalism. They are going to start to see how you are so professional in your business. You see, You're actually going where you're understanding their troubles and all their concerns. You're slowly starting to pull them out on what you've done in your success stories. You're taking them through to the benefits of a soul mandate and discussing that with them, going into the marketing plan, which is now talking about, well, with my whole soul mandates, the marketing plan, really rounding up that communication of the feedback that you're going to give them on every single week so that they know exactly what's going on and what's engaging into their property. And this takes you to that professional level. Now, there's one final element to this particular journey with your clients, and this is negotiating the terms. And it's at this point that you get the opportunity to really convert it into a soul mandate. And when we talk about negotiating terms, what I'm referring to is negotiating on that soul mandate. And this is something that I've done many times. Mr. Seller, I understand that you've had a bad experience. I've just explained to you my way of doing business, my marketing plan, the benefits, the communication and feedback that I'm going to give to you. Why don't you give me 14 days to 30 days? You can choose within your script between 14 to 30 days. Give me a trial to soul market your property. And that's the negotiating terms that you're going through. So you're not going out and asking for a 6-month soul mandate. You ask them for a trial. And it's that trial that really starts to move them over. And you say, look, after 14 days, if I have not lived up to the expectations, the professionalism that I've presented to you, well, we're going to go our different ways and it'll go back to an open mandate. But I can tell you within those 14 days or 30 days, I'm going to give you that feedback. I'm going to give you that experience that you should receive as a particular agent. And it's that's going to help you to take your business and elevate you to that level where you're going to convert that open mandate where they've had a bad experience with an agent and convert it into a sole and exclusive mandate that will then be working for you. So the whole purpose around this journey of not being able to convert an open mandate to a soul mandate because of past relationships, because they've been tarnished, is you've got to rebuild that relationship. You've got to rebuild that trust. And when you rebuild that to that level where they trust you and they see the professionalism in you, and you've offered them a simple terms agreement, 14 days, 21 days, 30 days, give me that time period, there's my marketing plan, and you present all of that, you're going to increase that chances of getting that particular soul mandate. And the final thought on all of this is once you've gone through this particular process, what you need to make sure is you hold your integrity. You need to make sure that you follow through with exactly what you have just said. Because if you take that soul mandate and you fall into that hole where you don't do the marketing plan, you don't do anything that you've promised in the marketing plan, you don't give the communication and feedback, your name will be tarnished, your integrity will be removed, and ultimately you're going to start getting bad input from that seller and they're going to feed that out. So you've got 14 days to focus, to work on that property, or 21 days or 30 days to make sure that you get the job done. And I can assure you now, when you follow those particular steps, you will change the mindset of that particular seller. And in that time period when you sell it, they will be your greatest advocate and ambassador. They will be shouting your name to all their friends and their family, and you're going to start getting more soul mandates that you don't even have to have these discussions. You will walk into properties, people will trust you straight off the bat, they will know and understand your business, and you'll be allowed to save that 1 hour or 2 hours and go straight back into your business and focus.